Howdy, howdy, everyone. I'm back on desk tonight, of course, and this time I don't have Simon, I don't have Carson, I have Gunjan. Gunjan, how you feeling tonight, my friend?
I am feeling great. It is 40 degrees outside, a little bit nicer than the weather that we had in Syracuse, so I'm excited for some hot gameplay with Syracuse right now.
This is true. Syracuse has been looking good in their Valorant gameplay. Obviously, that is what we're playing tonight. Last night, Syracuse took on the Baylor Overwatch squad and took that victory with a nice 3-0 sweep. Good for Syracuse Overwatch to sort of get themselves back on the momentum, get themselves back into the swing of things after quite a grueling couple of matches these past few weeks, and so it's good for them to be back on their feet. Syracuse Rocket League going down in a Game 5 banger of a series, losing 2-3. Very close against the undefeated Baylor, but they are still undefeated, but no worries to Syracuse. They played very good last night against Maryville, the currently number 2 ranked team in the country, I believe, in terms of CRL, so very good for them, and they're going to continue that forward. But tonight we've got Valorant against Baylor to continue forward with this Baylor week. And we're going to see how that one goes.
Yeah, I'm super excited for Bear Week. That's what we got, Bear Week, Ryan. And I'm super excited because Valorant right now, Baylor, picking up their first win that's outside of Nebraska-Lincoln versus University of Minnesota last week. And they had a really good time over there. 2-1 victory. They picked up wins on Breeze. They picked up wins on, I believe, Corrode as well in maps 2 and 3. And so I'm excited to see. And Syracuse University coming off a 2-1 loss to Boise State, but one of those victories that felt like a win because, they pushed them to the limit. 13-10 loss in map number 3 on Abyss. It was incredibly close. They just couldn't get over the line. But a win in terms of the morale, in terms of the mentality, showing that this team has some gusto, the ability to do it.
Yeah, exactly, right. And we have some of those replays from last week against that Boise State squad. Syracuse did an incredible job last week, right? Like you said, going down 2-1 against Boise State. This is what we've been talking about, right? This Syracuse squad is definitely not a team to be trifled with. They've been doing a really good job in this season. They've been doing a good job improving as a team and really getting sort of the gears turning and the oil on those gears really getting going. And that's what we've seen from the Syracuse squad. Their bind map looked absolutely phenomenal last week. They won that one 13-4. Ended up losing the second map on Haven 13-2. And then they ended up going 13-11, or 11-13, excuse me, to that third match on Abyss. So Syracuse looking very, very good against the Boise State squad, and those are one of the top dogs in this season so far.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of those wins, it felt like it was kind of a tale of two Syracuses because on Bind and on Abyss, they were really proactive and aggressive, and then on Haven, it just looked like that aggression just wasn't there, even though they were running the double duelist, which kind of worked out for the team. And the player I want to shout out to you, Ryan, ended up being the captain right there. Pretz had a monster game in a lot of those, especially on Bind. The Viper, 25, 9, and 6, absolutely demolishing, carrying the Syracuse squad. And we talk about this squad, it's a team of momentum. They need to see some of the baskets go in the hoop. Once they see the baskets go in the hoop, they just start doing shot after shot after shot. And they were clicking on all cylinders. But it feels like on certain maps, especially on the Haven versus Boise State, that aggression just wasn't there.
Yeah, and that really does come down to the captain a lot, right? Pretz being that sort of player to look out for. We take a look at him there talking to the rest of his team, and he has been on this team for quite a few years. He is one of the veterans, or the veteran of this team, and he has always been a player who, first off, I have casted over Pretz over my time here at Syracuse. I've casted him play every single role under the Valorant categories, and now that he's sort of more on this duelist role and he's taking less of an IGL perspective, and that's more falling onto Maboogie, Pretz still has a very prevalent figure on this team and has done a lot to get their team to reach this point, right? I mean, last semester, they struggled a little bit, right? They were still learning sort of how they wanted to play with one another, and they wanted to really get that synergy up and going. This semester, obviously bringing in the Boogie more full-time, Monster as well being more of a full-time player, and Owen and Stomp being two players that have come back, or especially Owen coming back and really making a big difference for this team. And they have quite dominantly improved as a roster. And as we approach near the end of this PEC season, now things are going to start heating up for the Syracuse squad to put themselves in good rankings for the playoffs in Vegas.
And it's a good time to get hot. It's one of those
Yeah.
situations where it feels like this is when you want to ramp up as a team, because taking Boise State to map number 3, 13-10, it's one of those situations where they felt the pressure.
Yeah.
They felt like the Syracuse squad really had a chance because they started off that map really poorly. They kind of strung together a lot of those wins, and you could see Boise State kind of feeling that pressure in terms of the aggression. Again, shouting out to Pretz,
Yeah.
it feels like he's just kind of the man of many roles. He's able to fill in wherever they need him to play. The Viper, the Sova as well, just being able to kind of fill in where he gets in, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have that Vandal in his hands, and he's able to hit those shots.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's another thing. All 5 of these players are incredibly gifted from a mechanical point of view. All these players have been doing an incredibly good job in how they play, right? And being able to take those gun battles a lot, they've been an incredibly good job throughout the semester. And you know, that is one of the things that you take a look at, right? You take a look at how good Bind is, right, for this Syracuse squad. Not only is Bind sort of a playbook that they have, but then you move them onto a map like Abyss where they don't really have a playbook of what they want to do, give and take, this is how we're going to win it, like Bind is, very dominant, but they are very mechanically good players, and that's put them really good in this season. They've played really well in this season. We have sort of an updated bracket of, or not really bracket, but standings of where these players are as we take a look at those and sort of what this team has been able to do and how they've been able to improve as a team to reach said point. Boise State being the big dogs of this competition, going 14-1. Syracuse going to a game 3 against them. Michigan State, they played very well earlier in this semester as well. They played against them, and so Syracuse is in a really good spot right now. They're 4-9, but they could easily put themselves, they got 3 more matches. Obviously, they have Baylor, Minnesota, and Kansas, not in that order, but they could put themselves 7-9 before the end of the season.
No, 100%. And shouting out some of the other matches that are happening right now in Week 7 of the PEC. Boise State and Ohio State are going to be competing number 1 and number 2 seed. Nebraska-Lincoln will be facing Michigan State. Syracuse, of course, against Baylor on our stream. And then Kansas versus Minnesota. So there's a lot of battling in terms of just jostling for those seeds.
Yeah.
It does feel like the top dogs have been established, but it does feel like a lot of the dark horses, which is kind of the pack that Syracuse is sitting in, are able to contend, are able to take maps off as well. And it feels like just kind of figuring out, okay, we have Bind. We are the Bind kings of the PEC. Now let's put together some strategies on Abyss. Let's try to put together some momentum.
Yep.
And we need to figure out some of the maps that we're not able to play, because it felt like on Haven, Syracuse just felt lost. And the good thing to note is that Baylor does not play Haven either. So Abyss, Pearl was some of the maps that we saw last week for the Baylor versus the University of Minnesota match. So most likely we won't be seeing Haven. Again, if Bind is in play, Syracuse does have such a good win record on that map. It feels like regardless of who you are, the Bind Kings reign supreme. So I'm excited to see kind of what Syracuse likes to do. And again, in terms of the play style, that double duelist, when it's on fire, Ryan. It works. It feels like Mabuki's just able to take over games. When it's not working, there's just not enough utility in the tank.
Yeah, and we see that a lot on Corrode especially, right? When we see that Neon Waylay combo come out from Pretz and Mabuki, it is so oppressive and so powerful, right? Some teams, they opt in for that Yoru instead of that Neon sort of playing, in a sense, as an initiator with that ultimate of the dimensional drift. So with the way that Syracuse is looking to play this, right, they have an incredibly high advantage with their mechanical skill on that double duelist. But like you said, it does come into a little bit of a worry when you are on that double duelist. Sometimes you don't quite have the utility usage to capitalize on some other teams that may be running the double controller or double sentinel composition.
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of what Baylor likes to prefer. They are not a double duelist team. They do play a little bit of there was a lot of jet play, a lot of Waylay play. But again, they're usually more... They've been kind of switching it up because it's one of those things where it feels like Baylor is starting to come along a little bit. For a while, they were struggling to kind of put together maps, but even in the losses they've had in the past couple weeks, they've been able to put up good losses. And again, the idea of a good loss is kind of it's
a little hard to swallow.
It's hard to swallow, but it's good. It's good losses overall, and they've kind of been putting together once they've now been playing a little bit more of the Yoryu plus Chamber as well, and then a Jet, a Waylay kind of thrown in. So they're kind of saying, if we can't win standard, we're going to make it weird. That's my favorite phrase, Ryan. I've been saying this on Valorant PEC cast for a while. when you can't play standard, you got to make it weird.
Yeah.
And Baylor's been able to make it weird.
Yeah, it's the idea of throwing something unique out there, right? It's always a matter of, if we can't beat you on the mirror or on the meta, then we're going to beat you playing something a little different. We may not know what that difference is yet, but we're going to figure it out and, sort of take them by surprise. And, I have a fortune in my pocket here from a fortune cookie. Your kindness will help brighten a dark room. Oh, that's sweet. That's for you, Gunjan. There
Thank
you
you.
go. Yeah. I think I've washed I've put these pants in the dryer a few times, and this is probably been washed a few times. So it's been washed with good luck and detergent. I don't know if that plays anything into the lore of fortune cookies or not, but
we'll use that in the cast today.
you know what? This
We'll
is the Syracuse fortune, right?
Yeah.
Your kindness will help brighten a dark room. It gets dark on that stage until you turn the lights on.
I agree.
Yeah, so there you go. Kindness will help brighten your day, and if you're not kind, be kind. As Carson says. Carson and Jack still recovering from their flu, so I want to give a shout out to them. Just get better. Carson likes to end the broadcast saying "be kind," so maybe this fortune was Carson's way of coming back in the booth for the day. But as I say that, right, Syracuse still warming up a little bit before they get themselves into this game, but they're in a good spot, right? I mean, Syracuse is definitely a really good game for them to take a victory on. If they win this, they'll be a little bit more matched with Kansas, who's right above them in the seeding right now. They're 4-8. Syracuse sitting 4-9, I believe, is what I saw. I could be entirely wrong. Gunjan's going to double check me here. But, Syracuse finding this victory would put them in a really good spot, especially because they are going to play Kansas next week, and they could take that next 5th seed spot, which would be really, really good for this Syracuse squad.
Yeah, so Kansas right now sitting at 5-8, Syracuse sitting at 4-9. So
There you
again,
go.
next week will be kind of the battle of
Yeah.
that 5th seed. So if stock happens, basically if the higher seed beats the lower seed, we should be going into the Kansas matchup looking to fight for that 5th seed. It'll be interesting to see again. Don't want to discount Baylor. They had a really good match last week. They've been putting it together, so I don't want to discount Baylor. But again, if stock happens, it's one of those things. I do want to point out, again, Ryan, some of the players to highlight on Baylor. Leno, who's been playing Chamber all 3 games last week versus the University of Minnesota Chamber, and top frag in every single one of those games. So one of those situations where even on maps like Pearl, which don't have the best of those long angles, again, they do have the B-long, he's able to kind of be really flexible for his team, and he showed up really heavily for his team. Regardless, even though they were running double duelists, he was still top frag.
Yeah, exactly. The Syracuse squad. Both of these teams have incredibly good players, like you mentioned, right, with Baylor, Leno, right? Having these good mechanical players are going to make a difference. And when you get into these quick lineups, right, where it comes down to peeking an angle and winning that gunfight, they are really crucial, especially when it is a player who's on a controller and you're on a solo controller composition. So that is something to be aware of on both of these sides of things, Baylor and Syracuse. You don't want to lose out that sort of main role, that singular role that you have, whether that be a solo Sen or a solo controller, whatever that may be. You don't want to lose that in your gun battles, and that is something that Syracuse has been a little strugglesome with in passing. Is sometimes they would take a 1v1 in that gunfight, they would lose out, and they would not be there for the trade in return. They have gotten better at that, but that definitely has been something that Syracuse has struggled with in the past. And against some of these teams, especially Baylor, who, right, they've had close losses, and it's because they know how to capitalize on small mistakes. These trades are going to be one of those things to be aware of.
Yeah, for sure. And again, last week's games, Pretz and Owen were kind of those players that set up those angles that we were talking about, those crossfire angles. So it felt like on maps where they, again, Bind is one of those maps that I'm just going to discount. Syracuse just plays way too well on that
we don't
map.
talk about Bind.
Strategy out the wall. It just feels like they just know exactly what to do. On Abyss, map number 3, which they did lose in a close loss, it felt like they were able to deploy Mabugi really well, especially on that Waylay, and especially again on Haven. That's where they struggled. It felt like the double duelists just struggled to kind of get anything done. And again, we are going to be going to Abyss and map number 1, so kind of figuring out what we saw last week, the things that we saw. Stomp on Yoryu, Pretz on Sova, Monster on Chamber, who had a really good game, was one of the players that actually pulled them back, because initially they started down, like, I believe it was like either 6-3 or 7-3, and they kind of made a run. And Chamber, or Monster on that Chamber, was big, especially kind of highlighting that he is the freshman, the new blood that's coming into the team, kind of finding his spots. Yeah,
that's another thing with Monster, right? We didn't see him much last semester. Every so often you saw him come in. Beginning of this semester, he wasn't in, right? Much at all, really. And so he's been sort of this sneaky little ace up your sleeve for the Syracuse squad, where his mechanical skill is really, really high, and he can make a character like Chamber work very, very well. When you take a look at his Headhunter as well as that Tour de Force, they do a lot of pressure from those two guns specifically, and when you have a player who knows how to play the gunplay of Valorant, you have a player like Monster who can really take control of the game.
Yeah, and we should be seeing stock from both of these teams. Again, both of these teams did play Abyss last week. Baylor lost to Minnesota on Abyss. They ran Jet, Yoru, so again, double duelist. They had the Astra, which we should see on this map. Astra is just so remarkably strong with that astral divide, being able to cut off a lot of those B-site maps. We saw the Sova from Jakey Poo and Leno on the Chamber, who had a monster game. And then for the side of Syracuse, we saw Stomp on Yoru, Pretz on Sova, Monster on Chamber, Owen on the Astra, and Mabugi on the Waylay. Mabugi definitely did struggle trying to figure out where his spots were, but overall Syracuse was really strong on that map, so I'm excited to see kind of how these teams play, because both of these teams had a really good Abyss last week in PEC.
Yeah, and you see basically a mirror between these two teams in terms of what they're going to play, right? Astra's on either side, Sova's on either side. The biggest difference here, Derry right now is going to be, or excuse me, Leno right now is hovering this Chamber. Owen is hovering over on that Omen. So that could be the biggest change. Everything else is going to be a mirror in this composition here. And I mean, you know, when you take a look at the Omen as a controller versus sort of this Chamber as this duelist sentinel kind of hybrid, Gunjan, talk to me a little bit about how that's going to play a difference between these two squads.
I think it's going to play a difference because Leno is just overall the big top fragger and carry for this team, and just kind of creating a lot of those immediate angles, especially as they're starting on attack. It's going to be a little bit more pronounced when they're playing defense, kind of trying to cover on the B side. The thing to talk about is that when it comes to the double controllers with the Astra plus the Omen, it's kind of cutting off a lot of those longer angles, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of which side wins. Do we win? Does Baylor have the advantage because they have the Tour de Force? Do they have the Headhunter to be able to kind of get those longer peaks? Or are the double controllers of the Omen and the Astra being able to cut off a lot of those long angles to kind of initiate the double duelist to kind of run out to sight?
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, you know, that you take a look to consider is when it comes to these maps, right? It's Abyss into Haven into Pearl. So, you know, this is what one thing that we've been talking about a lot off broadcast has been eventually you're not going to see Haven. Every time Syracuse is in, you won't see Haven, and it's simply because of how good they are at Haven. Bind.
Yes.
I'm saying Haven multiple times, staring at Haven. On Bind, because of how good they've played that map, it is a map that no one really wants to go into or play against.
Yeah, for sure. And it felt like Boise State last week, just kind of a little bit context of what happened. They ended up running their sub versus Syracuse on Bind. The second they lost 13-2, they put in their full roster. So they realized, oh, we can't mess around with Syracuse on Bind. But again, we're going to be getting into round number 1 on map number 1 on Abyss. Stomp trying to look for something, but again, Leno takes out Mabugi immediately with the Headhunter.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about, right? That strength of that Chamber to find those kills really early on, basically having a Sheriff on hand without having to have a Sheriff. So something to be aware of here. Trades on either side as the Yoru and the Waylay fall for both of these teams. And you see a little bit of patience coming out from the side of Baylor right now on this attacking side, but they're going to all group up looking to push in onto this B site here. Owen, I don't know if they were able to see anyone there, any shoulder peeks, but he's going to back up and play safe. Jiggle peeks out, doesn't get shot. Smoke goes out for Owen. Needs to live through this. There's the concussion from the Astra. Stomp finds one on to Leno. Looks for another. Owen peeks out. Will find Abby. Javi going to go for the plant. Not going to be able to find it. Will find Owen, however, but in return, Stomp finds their third on to Jakey. The flash goes in. They peek the corner on the left. The Sova Dart spots a Monster, finds a kill, and Syracuse cleans it up.
Stomp was able to take out Derry. Again, Owen able to take on to A-site. Again, nothing wrong in terms of how SU played defense. They did a really good job as well against Boise State when they played B-side defense. So it seems like a side of the map that SU is comfortable on. Now that they have rifles, this should be round win for the side of SU. But again, it looks like Baylor has 4 members with devious intentions on B.
Yeah, absolutely right. And they also have that spike sort of just chilling there. Chamber over on that A site, just seeing if they can maybe spot someone out. Syracuse, so I like this patience from them. They're not getting too needy or too greedy with what they want here. Pretz is playing safe as well, not getting themselves too out of position, looking for these kills. Mabugi on the corner, and Leno pops out, spotted by Mabugi with that Spectre, takes him down. It's going to be 1-0 for Syracuse in terms of members. Stomp smoked away from the Astra, throws out the flash, looks for a kill early, peeks the corner, won't be able to find it. Derek takes him down. There's going to be a return. Pretz with the stinger finds one onto Jakey, switches to the Ghost, finds a second one. Abby going to fall. Javi going to get the plant down now as Pretz is going to look for anyone else to peek into potentially the gun that was spotted from Abby here. Syracuse not getting greedy once more, but Boogie on the high ground could look for something. Doesn't quite find anyone though with that Sova Dart. There goes Mabugi, dashes in, finds one, finds the second. Derry and Javi fall down. Syracuse round 2 in their favor.
Really good usage of the util by the side of SU. Again, the Paranoia went down, blinded onto site, and the Astra just had no way to respond. Good win from the side of SU as they take a 2-0 advantage. And I like the way that they're using Mabugi. They have him kind of in weird rat angle places, able to take out Leno that was just kind of trying to run around mid. And again, the impressiveness, or in terms of right here, boom, takes him out immediately. The Headhunter had no ability there. Pretz, the captain, takes out 2 as well on site. Good job in terms of the overall switching of the weapons. Again, right there, the Astra just had no space to play. Good round overall from SU. And one of the things I want to talk about is kind of the dominance of Astra on this map. The ability to use the util to kind of cut off pretty much every angle is just so important on this B site. So I want SU to kind of really be dominant on this defense.
Yeah, and I mean, you take a look at how this Astra can use. She has the ability to concuss you, right, with that pulse. You have the ability to stun with the well, and it's really, really good to use overall for Astra, and it's just a multi-purpose controller. Owen plays safe, finds one on the Derry, gets traded out by Leno. Stomp looking for something, but is taken down by Jakey before they're able to teleport out and keep themselves alive. No gate crash for them available now as Monster and 2 other members, Mabugi and Pretz, I believe, are the ones alive for Syracuse now. It's 4-on-3, the spike is down. Owldrome goes in. Can't quite find anyone though. Pretz is on this low ground here. There's a spot onto Jakey with the recon dart. Got taken down though by Jakey. In return, Monster finds the kill. Abby goes on to Mabugi. Monster falls. It's a round win for Baylor.
I'm surprised that SU switched up their defensive tactic right there. It felt like they had the Astra on B site. It was doing a good job of just kind of pushing away any of the initial pushes. It just felt like there wasn't enough utility to kind of dissuade Baylor, and they just were so aggressive right here. Again, Owen takes out 1, but there's just way too many members in there. Crossfire angles were just so strong, and again, they got 2. It just wasn't enough. Baylor does pick up their first round win. SU up 2-1.
Yeah, that was, you know, a nice little gun even Steven for both those squads. That's what happens on round number 3. Typically you see round 1 and then 2 go to the same team. That third round is where things get a little bit more interesting. Recon Bolt goes in. They destroy it, but Monster spots 3 of their own. This is the patience from Syracuse, right? You don't see a major rotate coming out from this squad. Baylor throws in an Owl drone of their own. Not going to spot anyone, though, with that as Syracuse, like I mentioned, their patience this game has been incredibly good. Playing safe, playing calm, even though they spot a lot of members. They don't get crazy, they don't go for anything too heroic on this play. They're respecting this Baylor squad. They respected that round win that they got from them. Mabugi doesn't find one. The dash comes in. There's a concuss and a couple smokes as well from the enemy jet. Not going to find anything though, and Baylor backs up. They play safe. Owen finds one though as Javi gets a little too pushy up onto that B site. The smoke now going to go over onto that B so they can cross it. And the rest of Baylor, they start to rotate on through mid. Stomp does have an angle, very small one here, one of these more pixelated angles on mid site as they choose to cross through this. The Owl Drone comes in and spots at least 3 of them, finds one. Monster really good playing recon on this side of things here. Stomp spots 1, can't quite find it. The shoulder stays up, no damage goes in. It's a 5-on-4. Syracuse has the advantage, but not anymore as Monster goes down. It's 4-on-4. Leno peeks a corner. Stomp goes down as the shot goes wide. Syracuse now playing on this post-plant side of things. They need to get themselves back onto the site. Owen
10 seconds left.
Playing a little safe here, has nowhere to go. Derry takes them down. They need to plant this spike, and they will do so. Jakey gets it to 2-on-4. A lot of the members of Baylor, the Jet and the Chamber, falling a little low here. So it is still possible You have some really good players left on this team of Syracuse to find these kills and put themselves in a good series to bring this one back. There goes the dash, doesn't spot it out. Leno takes him, but Pretz finds the return. Turns the corner here, doesn't spot anyone. They're going to peek around the corner. There goes the flash. They're able to find, not quite. Derry takes him down, and we're even 2-2.
Pretz just didn't have enough in the tank right there. It was a 4-on-1 situation. He takes out one, but just not enough. Baylor picks up their map number 2, and again, SU struggled. Mabugi was trying to get something done around mid. Again, Owen did take out Javi, but mid control was completely lost from the side of SU, and just an unfortunate miss from Stomp right there. Again, Owen tried to get something done, but just wasn't enough. They were able to approach onto B site uncontested through mid, and Baylor pick up round number 2, evening it out 2-2 between SU and Baylor.
Yeah, and you see as well Syracuse now on a thriftier buy, as they don't have the funds to fully equip themselves. Owen! Headshot through the wall. Derry goes down. That's a good one for Syracuse now. They have a spot on this right angle, but they're not going to get too pushy with it here. Stomp finds another one taken down by Javi. There's Owen, finds one, looks for a second, cuts the reload. It's going to be Javi who falls down. It's just Chamber. Pretz finds him. A thrifty round win for Syracuse with only one member who falls.
Ryan, do SU even need guns?
No.
Because it felt like they played that defense just immaculately right there. Again, Owen hitting his shots, taking out 3 members from the side of the Baylor Bears, and what a round overall. Again, I like the way that they just play this round. Owen just, taking out Derry immediately. The Jet peaks as well, and Abby goes down. Javi went down. Finally, 3K for the side of the Omen, and SU pick up round number 3. One round advantage for the side of the Orange.
Good for Syracuse there, but the tour de force is now active as you see it's hovered over for the chamber of Baylor. Could be dangerous. Aldrone spotted, and the Boogie gets themselves out alive. Doesn't have to worry too much about that. Spike sitting over in the back of mid before Baylor figures out where they want to go. Dimensional Drift available for both Yorus here, so a good initiation. But you do have a Sova, so you don't have to worry too much about that with a Recon Dart at your disposal here. Baylor is still playing a little space, but there goes the Dimensional Drift coming out from Baylor. They're investing some ultimates here to try to go for it. The Recon Dart is going to find Mabugi, but Monster finds Leno. Concuss goes in from the Astra, won't be able to find anyone. The tour de force is no longer a problem for Syracuse. Owen finds the Astra lurking over onto that B site where the rest of Baylor is going to look to push on over now. They smoke that B main choke, as the rest of Syracuse is going to be able to push themselves back over to this site, keep themselves in a good defensive position, as Baylor's going to have to jump on the side as fast as they can. Abby already there. Owens finds one, finds the second, not quite. Abby turns the corner just in time. There goes the flash. Stomps finds one. Just Abby alive. It's a 4-on-1. The Owl Drone comes in from Monster, seeing if they can spot anyone. They don't spot anyone, but they do spot the spike. So now Syracuse just needs to play it nice, safe, and easy. It's going to be another round win for him. Pretz coming in from the flank here. Abby jumps up just a little bit. No one, I believe, spots them, but they do know where Abby is sitting here. Pretz around the corner. Spot him. Nope. And Abby falls.
Methodical play from SU to close out the round. Really good overall play from Owen on the Omen to just take out Javi. And it feels like Baylor doesn't really know what they're doing with this Astra as well. Monster able to take out Leno, who had invested the tour de force, so really big round lost overall. Owen takes out Jakey to fall down to Abby in the crossfire, but again, 4-on-1 situation. SU played it really well. Stomp able to take out Derry right at the end, just able to shoot the legs out, and Abby just had no chance. SU take round number 6, 4-2 advantage for the side of the Orange. An overall really good round, but I want to see Baylor utilize this Astra a lot better, because right now, it just feels like Javi goes wherever, but Stomp takes out Jakey.
Yeah, Syracuse, a fast aggression going on to this point, and Syracuse is already just in there. Mabugi finds 2. Leno falls, and now they have the spike. Now it's just playing, flip the sides on the defense here for Syracuse, and there you go. I mean, that's basically a round win for Syracuse here, and it'd be nice if they can get a flawless one. Owen sitting here with the Outlaw, waiting for someone to peek the corner. Yep, there it is. Derry spots them in, and We were talking that you wanted to see a little bit more coming out from this Astra, coming out from the side of Baylor, as they've been lurking a little bit, but it's going to be the last one alive. Finds a nice headshot onto Pretz. Mabugi goes in for the trade and finds them. Not flawless, but quite clean.
That's one of those rounds where Pretz is like, let me try this real quick. Didn't get it. The Astra v Astra duel did go over to Baylor, but the round went to the side of the orange. And overall, really good, as we do see a timeout coming in. And again, Stop takes out Jakey Poo immediately. The push was just overall taken apart. And just really good round from the side of the SU, just overall being able to play. And again, super aggressive, but it just feels like Baylor doesn't really know what to do with this Astra pick. Astra is so pivotal on this map, on Abyss, to be able to kind of create choke points, to be able to create really good smokes to kind of cut off sites so you can approach. And it just feels like right now, Javi is either lurking way too far up and being taken out by the Omen, or just alive right at the end and not kind of with that initial push. And so it feels like Baylor is just struggling to find their offense. They had a good round over. They had good rounds, Ryan, when they were able to kind of just all charge onto B, and I'm surprised that they're not doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, you have so much utility on that Astra, right? And when you have them on the lurk, right, the good thing about Astra is you don't have that range, right? I mean, you have the ability to throw your smokes out or throw whatever you want to use out, throw those stars out, wherever you want, and you're fine, right? And you can choose whether or not you want to use your gravity well, pull people in, whether or not you want to sort of displace someone and just hit them a little bit with a concuss, or, you know, choose to use it as a smoke with that nebula. And it's really, really powerful, but only when you're alive to do it, right?
Yep.
We've seen that lurking coming in from Baylor, and it's not a bad position, but when you get a little greedy, when you push yourself a little bit too far forward, that's when things get dangerous.
Yeah, it's just going to be difficult because it feels like they're just not kind of working in line with the Astra. But again, Astral Divide does come out on this round. Baylor is going to be attacking this B site immediately. It's going to be stopped.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes happens. Just Valorant time.
You know, you can't hear anything when you walk through that wall, and then all of a sudden you hear everything. So sometimes it happens. Syracuse goes down, though. Abby with the ultimate, the knives of the Blade Storm, finds one on to Owen, and now it's going to be a 5-on-3 here. That Cosmic Divide goes down. Syracuse has one of their own if they choose to use, but Abby on this Jet. You don't see much Jet very often anymore. Misses those knives for the most part. I believe they have a couple left, but Boogie takes no damage. 50 per hit as Jakey's going to get the plant down. No one's over on the A site. It's going to be a free plant for this side of Baylor here. Mabugi finds Abby on that flanking side.
That's one of those duels right there, Ryan, where they just had to take it. Duelist beat duelist. They said, this is not even really helpful for our teams. Javi takes out Mabugi. He was going for a flank angle, and the captain is the only one left with the Sova as well. Oh my god, he runs onto site, takes out Leno. Holding, takes out another. Derry goes down as well. Brett, can you do it? 3 members down. Javi, the only member left, and he had been pushing to the back of site.
Bratz with the 4-piece to win the round. Beautifully well done. They're able to find one. They throw in that concuss. They find one. They find two through the smoke on the peak. They find 3 as that Sova doesn't quite have the reload animation timing to fight it with the Hunter's Fury. And then they find the 4th as they come in. A nice 4-piece for the captain of the team. 9-3 right now for Pretz, and that's going to be 6-2 lead. That's a good one for Syracuse to win. And after a timeout, if you're a Baylor, that's definitely not the best way to put yourselves, but Syracuse is feeling good.
Ryan, the only analysis I got for that one is, oh, captain, my captain. What a play from Pretz. Again, a 4K right there. Let's see if Owen can repeat right here, but Monster takes out Javi immediately. Again, the Astra is down for the side of the Baylor Bears.
Really good for Syracuse to start up on their own. They also have ultimates in their favor. Stomp finds one. Throws himself out of the way. They drift themselves out, and now it's going to be Syracuse playing patient once more. Like I said, this has been really good for Syracuse. Their ability to just sort of know when to take the fights and know when to not take the fights. Really good from them so far in this series. Leno takes Mabugi before they're able to grab that ultimate orb with the Headhunter. It's a 4-on-4 now. Syracuse still have the advantage. If you take a look at their ultimate, 60 seconds remain for Baylor to get themselves onto site. They're sitting over on a mid. They do have Spike in their hands. The Sova has it. The recon dart, excuse me, goes in. Doesn't quite spot anyone. Syracuse waiting for any engage. The pixel peek is spotted onto Abby, but no connection. Monster, it's your turn. They spot them, but the jump peek goes in. They still find it. Abby goes down. Monster looking for more. It's a 4-on-3. You do see the Omen ends up using that ultimate from the shadows. Will be Syracuse as they look for more. The flash comes in. Darius flashes himself, but it's not going to be quite enough. Monster goes down. It's a 3-on-3 now. Syracuse still at the advantage. That chamber for the side of Baylor mighty low as they're going to get themselves onto B site. Dimensional Drift activated for Stomp as they spot all 3 of the members. They're going to go for the plant. Jakey Poo's going to go for it, and Stomp comes out. Not able to find one. A good blind comes in. Leno finds one. Jakey finds the other. Pretz, can they do it again? They're able to find one on the Leno. 2 more to take the victory. The flash goes in, but no peek will go for it. Pretz spots one. Jakey really low. The recon dart goes in. He's not going to worry about it. Finds one. It's just going to be Daria alive here as they're just both peeking through the corner. Pretz through the wall. The headshot, the kill, and the round win.
Pretz, how do you do it? Again, oh captain, my captain takes out 3 in that situation. What a round for Pretz. It got really dicey there, Ryan. But again, ulti advantage, but it felt like Baylor found kind of the angle through mid onto B site. They weren't prepared for it, but overall, really good gameplay from Pretz. Again, coming out super strong for his team, and this is what happened against Boise State as well. He came out super strong on map number 1, and it just gives your team confidence. But Monster, really good job of holding this B link. It felt like he was super pressured. Leno took out Stomp. Jakey Poo took out Owen, but again, Pretz, 3-on-1 situation. Really good job of just making it so that instead of a 3-on-1, it's just 1v1, v1, v1. And in those situations, I like Pretz's odds.
Yeah, really, really good for Syracuse. Pretz finds another through all the smokes. Derry falls down. Baylor getting a little aggressive here, is able to find Monster through the gunfire. Recon dart goes in, gonna not be shot down in time. Mabugi and Pretz are spotted. Mabugi has this op on a line if they choose to use it here. Not going to go for any kills. Stomp holding themselves very close in this front of mid. Spots Abby, but Abby finds them before the kill goes in. Owen spots one over on the B site. Leno goes down. 3-on-3. Cosmic Divide on the ultimate in the field. Pretz down on the left. Finds a shot. There goes the Asher for Baylor. 3-on-2. Syracuse advantage. And they're going to walk directly into Owen's crosshairs here, holding this a little bit on a tight angle as they peek through. Jakey, first one to peek in, spotted. Abby, only one to live, but not much HP to their name. It's a 2-on-1 Syracuse advantage here. One shot to the chest will take down Abby. And Syracuse, they're walking on to B site now as Abby fakes the plant but doesn't actually go for it. Will go for it now. Pretz has a lot of utility to his name if he chooses to use it. Could go for an early stun. Abby peeking the corner. Mabugi going to be the first one to peek through. Has lower HP, activates it, but not going to find anything. Abby with 3, spots one. Pretz, one shot to the chest to send 8-2.
Pretz clutched another round, Ryan. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get the defuse.
No, he is. I think he thought it was over. I believe he thought it was over on the other side. So
yeah, that was one of those situations where, again, Pretz clutched another round, Ryan. Overall, really good play from the captain to be able to kind of finish out the round. He just was a little bit confused at the end. You know, it happens. You're like, where's the bomb right now? Or, sorry, bomb from CS. Where's the spike right now? But SU pick up round number 10, an 8-2 advantage for the side of the orange. And just overall, really good play from this team. It just feels like even when they are being traded, they're at least taking out one. And the big things to note is that Baylor is just not giving themselves an advantage because in these situations, they're not pushing together as a team. And so you have stray members, Leno getting caught out on B site when his team wasn't able to kind of respond, Javi getting caught out as well. And it just feels like the team is not together, kind of like a fist, pushing onto site aggressively and together. They just kind of split up, and SU's doing a really good job of just picking them apart.
Yeah, and Syracuse, they're able to find one. Owen finds Abby. Derry going to be taken down. Mabugi going to go ahead and refract themselves out of the fight. It's a 5-on-3, 4-on-3. Stomp goes down to Javi there. But it's going to be Baylor pretty aggressive on this B site. Leno on the edge of B here. If they speak out of any angle, they'll be spotted. Mabugi finds one, hides himself away. Mabugi finds a third, looks for a fourth. Leno, headshot. One bullet is all it takes from any gun. A shorty would even kill the chamber here on Leno for Baylor. Gonna peek out. Owen finds them off the recon, or excuse me, the owl drone. It's 9-2 Syracuse.
Really good
Last
round from the
round in the
Orange.
half.
9-2 advantage. Again, the last round before the half, 2 ultimates as well available. But Owen right here takes out Abby immediately. Mabugi takes out Derry. And the push is just so kind of neutered immediately. Mabugi takes out 2 as well. It just feels like Baylor just can't find their offense. They can't find their rhythm, and it feels like SU is just picking them apart. And the rounds to mention, Ryan, the rounds that we want to talk about is the rounds where Astral Divide gets used and they still lose. Tour de Force gets used and they still use. The util usage from the side of SU has been controlled and patient, and now the Tour de Force gets activated. The Jet ulti gets activated. Astral Divide is also in play, and this is going to be a big round for Baylor to see if they can go in 9-3.
It is Hunter's Fury, and a blind goes in. Monster finds 2 with the Fury. Pretz and Stomp finds theirs. Leno finds Mabugi with a Tour de Force, but with a Blade Storm and Tour de Force no longer usable. Pretz peeks it through. Monster finds the third, beautifully executed as Syracuse goes into this half switch on the attacking side. 3 rounds to take game number 1.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel right there. They were lined up, and the Hunter's Fury cut them down like a hot knife through butter. What a round right there. Pretz peaked. Stomp had taken out Derry already. The Hunter's Fury did so much damage. Abby and Javi taken out. Pretz takes out Jakey Poo. And again, Mabugi did go down to Leno, but it did not matter. 4-1 advantage. 10-2 advantage for the Orange over the Baylor Bears. And right now, SU is rolling. And the big thing, Ryan, is we're not unbind right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is Syracuse. They've progressively gotten better at Abyss, and this is what we see, right? This Syracuse squad playing very well on Abyss, incredibly well in terms of their tempo control, right? Playing a little bit slow, playing very fast. I like what I'm seeing from Syracuse here. Looks like it's going to be a B push from the Syracuse squad. Don't know if it's going to be a fake or a little bit of a recom. Nope, they're going to go for it. The fast play is what we like to see from the Syracuse squad. They're going to get aggressive here, but Derry takes down Monster. A little bit of a hold-up for Syracuse. That spike falls back behind. Pretz able to find him, does grab the spike. They're going to get themselves on 2 point. Controllers throw smokes galore onto this site here. Owen goes in with the paranoia. I believe they're able to find one. Leno finds Mabugi, though. Pretz gets the spike down. It's going to be 400 credits for everyone on that side of Syracuse, whether round win or loss. Derry spotted on the heaven, taken down. Pretz finds one. Owen finds another. Leno finds 2, though. It's a Stomp versus 2. Stomp finds 1. It's just 1 more. Leno with 4 with the Headhunter. And it's going to be a round win for Baylor.
Ryan, it's going to be a big note right now for the side of SU. This is going to be the big hurdle to get over when they are on this offensive side. Can you deal with Leno on Chamber? He's playing a lot of these long angles because this is where he's the most effective. There's a reason he was the top frag for his team every single map versus Minnesota, and he is so decisive and so good with his shots. Again, overall, a really good start after a kind of like a botched beginning, but it just wasn't enough. Leno was able to take out Stop, picked up the 4K right there, and he's so big for his team.
Absolutely. Leno 13 and 11 right now for their squad, and that's where you see the strength of Chamber. Very, very powerful as a character, especially for players who have good mechanical skill. That Headhunter and Tour de Force, dangerous weapons in the right hands, and Syracuse loses that round. We talk about this. Typically, round 1 goes to one team. Round 2 will go to said team. So Syracuse on a little bit of a lower buy here. I say a little bit, but they are. Nice little Leviathan gun coming out for Syracuse on Mabugi there. So not, or excuse me, Stomp. So not too shabby. I've always been a big fan of the team. They've got a nice color scheme there. Mabugi looks for something. Leno finds it though, and Derry is traded before then by Monster. Leno with the paranoia on him finds the headshot with the Headhunter on the Stomp. Pretz and Owen find their picks respectively now. Owen grabs a gun of their own. Monster has the Outlaw to their name. 3-on-2. Syracuse basically playing defense onto this B site here. Monster has the spike, goes to look for the plant for it. It's going to be Pretz and Stomp sitting over closer to this mid B site here, looking for any sort of engage. They will be able to spot the 2 members of Baylor as they walk through this corner. If they choose not to go up on this high ground, they predict them to go from this left side. It's spotted. Owen finds one onto Jakey. Just the Jet alive for Syracuse to bring this 11-3. A great round win if they can find it on a thriftier buy. The Jet walks up a little bit on this higher ground onto this Haven area. Monster still watching down this main B choke. I don't think they know where Abby is at the moment. Abby drops down. Monster finds it after Owen hits a couple shots. 11-3, Syracuse.
Really good round from the Orange right there. Again, he able to kind of execute that on the
Careful.
You know Ryan, how do you deal with Chamber in these long angles? You don't play him in those long angles.
Yeah.
So SU said, okay, you want to play B long, you want to play these longer angles where Chamber succeeds, we will just move completely away from that. Went through mid, played those really short angles in Link, were able to get the advantage, and overall, really good round from the side of SU to be able to mix it up, make it weird, because we talked about it. You caster cursed it a little bit, Ryan, where you said it. Round 1 goes to the one team, and then round 2 usually goes to the same team because of the gun advantage. SU said no, sir, and now they have the advantage as they're pushing onto the speed site with all util. So aggressive.
Yeah, Syracuse has always been good on those thrifty buys. Tour de Force available, but Maboogie with the Judge. No Mobucky, but we've got the Judge. Shaky Falls as well as the Jet for Baylor. Tour de Force is available for the side of Baylor, but it's a 3-on-5, and Mojudgy is in the game. You don't want to put yourself in a bad spot here. The Owl Drone comes in. They're able to spot 1. They spot 2. There it is. No one shoots it. And it's going to be Syracuse looking to play this defensive side. It's going to be the Chamber coming in from the back with the Tour de Force. Could look for something. Mojudgy in the game. Locked in, ready to go. They're going to be able to find their way out with the rendezvous. Maboogie still finds 1. That's another kill. It's going to be a 2-on-5. Syracuse has the advantage. 2-on-4. Derry finds Owen. Leno able to find Maboogie, but Pretz finds Derry. It's just Leno alive. It's 3-on-1. But there it goes. Leno falls.
Ryan, they take out the Tour de Force as well. 12-3 advantage for the side of SU. Stomp gets right out of the way from the spike explosion. And this is just going to be so hard for the Baylor Bears to get anything done. But Mojudgy on this Judge, so aggressive, able to get into the backlines a little bit, taking out Javi as well. And that's one of those situations where I'm glad that SU played this round really cleanly and effectively. After they were able to get onto site, they didn't get flustered. They didn't play too aggressively. They played patient. They ran out the time. And SU 12-3 advantage. This should send them to the map win as long as Baylor Bears don't pull off a miraculous comeback.
Yeah, I mean, it's seen before. Derry finds 2. That's a way to start it for Baylor. You had to say something, Gungeon. 5-on-3. Disadvantage, excuse me, for Syracuse. Pretz throws a couple of those nebulaic stars in. Owen finds 1. Jakey finds Pretz. 2-on-4. Jakey finds another one. Owen falls down. Monster now. So 1-on-4. The Sova's low for the side of Baylor. Jakey quite low in that HP bar there. Monster looks for 1, can't quite find it. Javi's gonna find him. It's gonna be a round win for Baylor, but a Herculean task to win this game.
That's on me. That one's on me.
That's okay.
Might have cursed them on that one. That round started off super strong for the Baylor Bears. They were able to take out 2 immediately. Derry on that Yoryu has kind of showed up. That is one of his big pocket picks. He loves to play the Yoryu as the duelist. And SU go down. 12-4 advantage for the side of the orange. Again, have ultimates. Their economy is a little bit in tatters, but they have the weaponry. They'll have a little bit of utility as well, so they should be able to get this done. Again, I like that they're mixing it up. They're not going to the side of B long because Leno is still there. He is still dominant and monstrous, so they are playing some more different angles. We'll see if they can get this done.
Yeah, Syracuse does have the Hunter's Fury online if they choose to use it. Stomp spots 1, but can't quite find the kill onto Abby. Syracuse, though, pushing themselves on to site, looking to see if they can find the kill. Monster going to be able to get the plant down on the spike, as that we do see the From the Shadows popped out from Owen. Pretz finds 1 on to Javi. Gonna be 4-on-5. Syracuse advantage. Baylor needs to make something happy. Abby falls. It's gonna be Pretz in return. Maboogie finds Shaky. It's a 4-on-2. Syracuse looking to go 1-0 in this series. 12-4 on Abyss. Leno finds Maboogie. Stomp finds Leno. It's a 3-on-1. Dimensional drift available for the Baylor side, but Owen takes Derry out. It's gonna be Syracuse taking the victory. Game 1, 13-4.
What a map from Syracuse. It was dominant. They had a couple of stumbles when I jinxed them, Ryan, but it just wasn't enough. The caster curse wasn't enough to curse Syracuse right there. 12-4 win, or 13-4 win for the side of the SU Orange. And just really good play. And the players shout out, Pretz, the captain. What a round overall. It felt like any time Baylor tried to make a comeback using the Tour de Force, using the Astral Divide, Pretz was there to just kind of break their hearts and just kind of crush any sort of resistance as the Baylor Bears fall in map number 1 to the SU Orange.
Yeah, really good from Syracuse. Owen, 19-10. Pretz, 20-6. Incredibly good squad here. Leno was that player to look out for. 17-14 that game. The Syracuse overall on Abyss looking mighty strong as a roster, and this is what you want to see from them, looking very similar to how they played against that Boise State squad last week. Currently rank 1 in the PEC. I believe 14-3 is their record, if I remember correctly. And Boise's a squad that is definitely going to put your team up on the record if you are going to be able to play well against them. Baylor, in a sense, are playing a very competitive team because of how Syracuse played against them, and now they're going into game number 2 on Haven, where neither of these teams have had the best of luck.
Yep. Haven was a really rough map for the side of the SU, and it just felt like that aggression, that kind of controlled aggression we saw in Abyss, we did not see last week against Boise State on Haven. It felt like they just didn't know how to play in terms of overall using the double duelist, and the player to kind of not shout out, but the player to point out last week was Mabugi. It just felt like he didn't know where to kind of go, especially on that 3-site map. He was playing a lot of tight angles, and it just felt like Boise State knew exactly when he was approaching. It felt like they kind of understood, okay, Mabugi's going to be in the flank, we'll get him, and then we'll take the 5-on-4. And that was how a lot of rounds played out, and so I want to see if SU can kind of mix it up, because they did mix it up on Abyss as well. One of the things I wanted to note was that last week we had Pretz on the Sova, which now Monster played, and now this week we have Pretz on the Astra, where he was phenomenal. It felt like that just gave him a little bit more control in terms of the utility, and a lot of those close gunfights, 4-on-1, 3-on-1 situations, he was able to use the Astra utility to kind of just cut off a lot of chokes and make it so that, okay, instead of a 3-on-1 situation, I'm just fighting you individually, then I'm going to fight your teammate, and I'm going to fight his teammate, and I'll take you all out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Syracuse has really good mechanical gunplay, so they can take those one-on-ones and end up winning those fights. Pretz, originally a really good controller player. That's what sort of the majority of my casting experience over Pretz was when he was on controller. Sometimes you'd see him switch over to initiator, but for the most part, he was a very good controller player. So when he switched to duelist, he does lose a lot of that control. You're thinking, well, yeah, it's a controller. Well, yeah, no duh, right? But in reality, there is a lot of control that controllers have, not just from a map perspective and a map control, but also from a team perspective, right? When you're not on that controller role, you don't have as much sort of game control, so therefore team control. So it is a lot better when you see Pretz, right? They have the ability to control that with the Astra, and I mean, Astra is such a versatile character. I mean, you have the ability to stun, you have the ability to smoke, and you have the ability to displace. And, I mean, on top of that, you just have a big wall that just literally breaks through the cosmos. I mean, hence the name Cosmic Divide. So, you know, it is incredibly powerful what Astra can do, especially on a map like Abyss. And it's good to see a player like Pretz who has that flexibility to play literally any role, but especially controller, and really take control of said game.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they mix it up as we move on to Haven, because one of the things to point out is that it felt like nothing worked last week on Haven. The things in terms of just overall agent picks, Monster was playing the Killjoy, Mabugi on Neon, Owen on the Omen as well, Pretz on Sova, Stomp on Yoryu, and it just felt like the double duelist. I expect them to still run it. I feel like they will still play the double duelist, but it's one of those situations where we need to mix up how we utilize this, especially on defense, because a lot of, to be honest with you, Ryan, you couldn't really tell when SU was on defense or offense, because it felt like the duelists were just running the same exact angles every time, and Boise State was just ready for them. So I'm interested to see kind of how they mix it up. I don't think we'll see the Killjoy again because it just wasn't too effective. And if we do see an agent like Killjoy, I would like to see if maybe Pretz could play that, because again, we talked about it. The control and the pacing of the game is kind of the big thing that I like to see in Pretz's hands, because not only is he able to kind of be the controller, but he's able to dictate, okay, you stop now, let's kind of figure out and let's kind of group as a team. Okay, now we'll make a push.
Yeah, Syracuse did an incredibly good job, and you say a little bit on how, right, you had a character, right, or a character. Excuse me, you had a player, right? They were playing a character, but you had a player, right, who, specifically Mabugi, who was caught out by Boise a lot on that flank. Well, on the flip side, right, Javi on the side of Baylor was always caught out on that flank on the side of Astra. So Syracuse sort of learning from the best team in the PEC and making those adaptations accordingly. And that's what you take from teams like this Syracuse squad, where they went, frankly, let's be honest, they had a terrible season last season, or last semester. It was not good. And they came into this season very, very different, right? They already look to take these victories, look to take these wins, and it's because they don't just take a loss from a Boise State and be like, yeah, it's Boise, what do you expect? It's, we play Boise, we learn from them, we learn what they did to us, and then we play better from that.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things that as a dark horse team, you have to be able to adapt, and you have to be able to kind of take in those lessons, even in a loss.
Yeah.
And in situations like this, where Baylor is a 3-11 team, you know, a team that you're expected to beat, you want to deal with that handily. You want to be able to kind of deal with them and make sure that you're able to get them, you have to be able to kind of play decisively and cleanly, and that's one of the things that, to be honest with you, versus Boise State, that was one of the things that they struggled on, because a lot of the rounds that they lost that were key rounds for the side of the SU Orange, they were able to, they ended up losing a lot of the rounds where Astra just wasn't able, the Astra on the side of Boise State just was able to win 1v3 situations, 1-on-2 situations, and it felt like the reason that SU lost to Boise State was not because Boise State played well, which they did. It was that SU kind of screwed up the execution. So the fact that they were able to execute really cleanly on map number 1 on Abyss is a really good sign for SU as a dark horse team in the PEC.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, right? If Syracuse, the two maps that you really take a look at when you're Syracuse is Haven and then map 3 Split. Specifically, map 3 for Split. Now, granted, Split has its own elements, I guess is the nice way to put it, of how that map can actually be played, especially when it comes to the mid control and when you're already 2.5 hours into a Valorant game. We're going to ignore Split for a little bit. I personally love the map, but I'm also not a professional player. I'm also not a good collegiate player. There's a reason I'm in a glass box. Let's keep that in mind and let's move past it. Haven, on the other hand, is also one of the sort of more tried and true maps of Valorant. It's also where one of the 9-3 curses came from. So, you know, keep that in the back of your heads. But it is also a very unique map because of the fact that it has those 3 points, because of the fact that it is more difficult to sort of control those locations. You have the ability to run a Killjoy to basically just hold down a site. Cypher as well used to be very, very powerful, specifically on that C site, and can still be played very well on that C site. So I am curious to see, you know, what Syracuse, but specifically what Baylor is going to come out on, right? Losing that 13-4 on this previous map, you're sort of thinking to yourself, okay, maybe the mirror isn't the best thing we can do, right? Obviously, the difference there is they had a chamber and a jet compared to the Waylay and the Omen, but maybe throwing something a little bit even more unique out, right? Don't run something that at its core is still the same composition.
Yeah, I think in terms of overall what Baylor will mix it up, just kind of going off of history, I think that we will see Javi on the Omen.
Yep.
They were just more comfortable on that pick. They were able to kind of execute a little bit better, especially in terms of just looking at overall gameplay advantage, because it felt like on the Astra, they just weren't effective in terms of getting caught out early or being the last person alive. And that's one of those things that you never want to do as a controller, because it seems like you weren't with your team in that situation. And the thing that I'm also expecting is that for Jakey-Poo, we'll most likely see the Fade. It was a pick that they preferred overall. They were executing really well on it as well. And we have Haven, which is a map where Fade is able to get a lot of information as well with the Prowlers, and able to get a lot of, in terms of that initial push done with the ultimate with the Nightfall. Yeah,
exactly, right? Fade is a very powerful character on very specific maps. Haven being one of the maps where Fade has her sort of spot to be played, very much usable. We also see sometimes you have a Breach on that map, right? So could go either way. Obviously, Fade, most powerful maps are Bind and Pearl, but we don't have either of those maps coming out. Wait. No, we don't have either of those maps coming out. I just had to really make sure. Neither of those maps coming out today, but we are going to go on a quick break while both these teams sort of solidify what they're going to run. So don't go anywhere. Grab some popcorn, grab some water, because we'll be right back with game number 2. And we are back, as production just said in my ear. So, in case you were wondering, yes, I quite literally say what production tells to me. No, that's a lie. I say whatever I want. Once I'm on air, they really can't stop me. But, you know, at the Nope. Okay, I'm done. I'm turning Prod off. They're gone. No, okay. We love everyone back there in Prod. We love you, Cole. He's our producer for the night. But anyways, we're back on desk here, and the players have decided to get themselves, you know, a little bit warmed up. So hopefully you got your popcorn, got your water. It was enough time. Popcorn takes about 2.5 minutes to make. It's my favorite snack.
I'm a 3-minute guy.
You're a 3 minute. Okay, it depends on the microwave though.
That's fair.
Some microwaves can cook popcorn in like a minute and a half.
What decides if a microwave can do it?
It's the voltage. It's
Is
like
that
it's how much
thought-
heat it can generate in time.
I never thought about
Yeah.
that.
There's also a popcorn button.
I never press those. I don't trust
Really?
them. I don't trust them.
I only press the popcorn button and then I watch it, and then I'll like, instead of, you know, being smart and just sticking to a number, I'll click the popcorn button and then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna watch this and I'm gonna study it like it's a pool of studies, like it's a pool of numbers, and I'll do it 2 to 5 times, and I'll be like, all right, so around, if I add 30 seconds, and then I can take it out at about 15 seconds. So I do it the microwave I do back home. I click the popcorn button. When I'm allowed to add time, I add 30 seconds, and then I take it out when there's about 25 seconds left.
You know, you're doing like the scientific process. That's like a 7th grade, like 8th grade. An 8th grade science teacher would be very proud of you.
You know, I love my 8th grade science teacher. She was great. She was a wonderful person. We move into Haven here, and I'll bring up more funny stories later as we take a look at these character choices. Agent choices is what they are, not characters. Gunjan, walk me through this a little bit.
So, again, we do have Hobby hovering, most likely the Omen. We'll see that Pretz is going to be locking in the Cypher. We didn't see this last week versus Boise State. So, again, a new pick. I like that SU is kind of mixing it up. Mabugi is going to be going back to the Neon, Stomp on the Yoryu. So, we are going to be seeing the double duelist for the side of SU. And it looks like on the side of the Baylor Bears, they are going to be going stock again. Leno is hovering that chamber. It's one of those situations where I'm looking into his eyes and he's looking back at me because it looks so absolutely dangerous. But Abby picking the Phoenix right here, we have not seen that in a really long time, and I'm excited to see what they can do on this pick, because not usually a pick we see, especially kind of fallen out of the meta for more conventional duelists like the Neon, like the Yoryu, as well as the Waylay. So I'm excited to see kind of what Abby can do on this Phoenix pick. Javi is going to be locking in the Omen. Jakey is hovering the Fade, which is what I kind of expected. Again, more of a pocket pick for, not a pocket, but popular, but also just a pick that they like to play. And as we go on to this Haven site, again, we did see Syracuse play this last week versus Boise State. 13-2 was the result in a loss. One of those situations where Syracuse is trying to mix it up. And again, they don't have bind in the map pool in week number 7. So they're going to have to be able to kind of figure out some new strategies for them to pull out, as they have a 1-0 advantage in terms of map.
Yeah, and I mean, you take a look at this Baylor squad. I mean, we see the Cypher come out, but little bit of a difference here, right? You see the Fade, which is sort of what we expect to see. The Sova being the initiator for Syracuse. The Phoenix coming out as that double duelist for Baylor. And then you have the Chamber once again, which is sort of what we kind of expected to see. So very much a change up for these two squads in terms of how they chose to do it. And I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out, right? As you have Syracuse on the attacking side first here. And this is where things can be interesting. This is where a team will typically get 3 instead of 9. So we get ourselves into this round number 1. Syracuse up 1-0 in the series.
And the thing I can tell you, Ryan, already is that they're going to avoid Leno on this chamber like the absolute plague. So they're going to try to move around him as much as they can. Again, 4 members sitting right now in the attacker side spawn. Abby takes out Monster immediately. Leno takes out Pretz. Mabugi does get a response onto Jakey, but round number 1 starts so explosive.
Yeah, and I mean, you see immediately the side of Baylor flips the map. They're now on the, or in the defense, or in the attacking side spawn. They have spike control as well. They're able to find an early kill. Owen throws out a smoke, seeing if they can spot anything there. Derry finds Stomp, though, on the flip side. There goes the flash coming out from Derry. Not able to find the kill. Paranoia goes in, finds one, finds a kill. Will be Mabugi. There goes another flash there. Leno finds one. It's a 2-on-1. Owen has 92 HP to their name. They just need a couple shots on Abby, and they're going to fall. Can't quite find it, though. Not going to be able to. Leno falls low, reloads the classic. There goes a right click. There goes a kill. Owen, one more to their name. All they need, the reload, though. Leno finds them. And it's going to be a 1-0 right now for the side of Baylor.
Ryan, you know how I said they're going to avoid Leno like the plague? What if the plague runs at you? What if the plague has legs and decides to walk towards you? And Leno just kind of went through. Again, explosive pistol round overall. It got really dicey, and Owen had a really good paranoia, hitting 3 members, but it just wasn't enough. Got the final pick onto Abby on the Phoenix, but Leno is indomitable, picks up the 3 kills in round number 1. Baylor starting off with a round lead on Haven.
Indomitable. I like that word. I like that word a lot. It's similar to indubitably. And now everyone is going to say that word. I know they will, because it's just sort of a thing. Everyone does the word. Owen and Derry on exact opposite corners of each other. Leno playing on the top of that box with that chamber here. Owen smokes it off. Gets spotted, though. Derry with a bulldog finds Owen. Stomp, able to grab the ultimate orb. Derry gets themselves out of there with that teleport. Now Syracuse. We got Pretz and Mabugi sitting here in mid, just outside of B site. Jakey spotted. Pretz takes a couple shots to themselves. There goes the cage for Cypher there, trying to find one. Jakey able to find them, though. And it's going to be a 3-on-5. The gun advantage has been helping Baylor really well here. Stomp finds it. Javi able to find Mabugi. And now it's a 2-on-5. Abby finds Stomp. It's Monster alive. 13 HP. Derry comes in from the flank, and they find the kill.
One of those situations where it felt like SU had good ideas overall in terms of execution and how they wanted to kind of approach offense. But just the gun advantage was just too much for the side of the Baylor Bears. They pick up round number 2, and right here, again, Derry takes out Owen, just kind of mows him down. Pretz has a good angle, but it just didn't matter. Jakey was ready with the gun as well, and Stomp tried to get something done, but the gun's advantage was too much for the Baylor Bears. They are up right now 2-0 against SU Orange.
Syracuse now has the gun equivalent of Baylor here. 2 rounds goes in their favor. Syracuse looking to push over on this C site. Leno on top of boxes over there on C. Gonna see if they can spot anyone out early. Stomp does find them. Mabugi finds the kill on the Leno. Syracuse, a fast push now onto this site. The flash does get Mabugi, but they will be able to be fine. Syracuse now pushing on this site. They have it. Pretz sitting over the way down in window, mid-window there. Monster gets the plant down. A couple bullets go flying into the smoke, but no one finds the connect. Still a 5-on-4 advantage for Syracuse. The Owl Drone able to mark 1 for Syracuse. In garage will be Pretz. Stomp finds one on to Abby. Pretz knows there's someone here. Jakey around the corner. Pretz, great game sense, turns the corner. Derry spotted out. Jakey peeks it back in. The garage finds one. Javi finds Stomp. Monster finds Jakey. 3-on-1. Owen has, or excuse me, not Owen. The member of Baylor, Javi, has literally 0 HP to their name. And is taken down. Monster sends it away.
Monster takes out Javi to pick up map or round number 1 for the side of SU as they pick up round number 3 overall. Again, just overall really good play. Pret's having an insane game sense to know that Derry is sitting on this flank. They were kind of dueling against each other, spy on spy. Javi had absolutely no health, and Monster takes him down. Good overall round, and we talked about... One of the things I pointed out was that they're going to try to avoid Leno. That round, they said, we will run all 5 into Leno and see how he deals with it, and he just wasn't able to get too much done. Again, it does feel like Baylor is mixing up how they are doing these defensive coverages on these maps, so I'm interested to see. Camera goes down immediately. Again, they're trying to see if they can find any sort of information on where the chamber is sitting. Oh my god, Pretz takes out Abby, but Derry takes out the return kill onto Pretz. A-site is being attacked immediately by SU. He misses the shots!
Sorry, Mobucky's back. I didn't realize it. I wasn't paying attention to the guns. Owen finds Javi and gets the plant down. And now it's a 2-on-4. Syracuse in a good spot. Owl Drone not able to spot the member of Baylor just as it runs out of fuel there. But Syracuse, very well done. A fast push onto this A site, and they're going to be able to capitalize on it as that spike is already down. Mabugi goes in for the stun, but Leno able to find Mabugi and Owen. Now it's a 2-on-2. The lead that Syracuse once had. Gonna be away for a little bit. Monster finds Derry. Leno finds Stomp. Monster does not need to play any sort of aggressive angle here. Leno does go for the tap. Shock dart online. Leno goes for it again. A 4-piece with a shock dart! Monster finds it, and it doesn't matter. 10 players are down. The Syracuse gets the round win.
He shoots and he scores. What a shot right there from Monster. The freshman picking up the shot. Probably one of the best freshman shooters that SU has right now. What a play right there from the Sova. Again, such a good round. Again, it felt like Baylor played so aggressively, but immediately Mobucky gets onto site, takes out Jakey, but the player that I keep highlighting, Leno right here, takes out Monster, but the shock dart drops, takes out Leno as well, and SU pick up their round number 2 on round number 4 overall. What a explosive round as Stomp takes out Javi immediately.
Great kill for Stomp. The Tour de Force activated for the chamber here. There goes the dimensional drift for Syracuse. Derry playing a little bit far forward on this C site. Stomp on site finds Derry on the jump up. Goes down to Leno with the Tour de Force. Mabugi going for it now, has the Mobucky to their name. Owen finds Leno. Tour de Force falling down. Monster gets the spike down. There it is. Jakey finds a headshot onto Mabugi. Cypher Cage in. Monster has the Owl Drone. Looks for someone. Turns the corner. Finds 2. Hits 1. Syracuse now at the advantage of 3-on-2. Here comes the Prowler and a Flash. Abby and Jakey engage together. Shock Dart gonna find a little bit of damage. Pretz finds 1. Abby able to find Monster, but Pretz finds the 2nd.
Beautiful crossfire angles being set up by the Orange right there. Again, Monster and Pretz just being able to set it up so that there was no chance for the Baylor Bears to approach onto site. Stop started out so cleanly onto Javi right there, got the flash, and Stop made another big play, catching the Yoryu sitting on B long right there. But overall, really good play from the side of the SU Orange, being able to attack, and it feels like right now, they're kind of going at Leno. He's been hitting some crazy shots. He's been kind of the MVP for the Baylor Bears. But overall, SU has been able to take him out. And once Leno goes down, it feels like SU has such a big advantage.
Yeah, and they do have an advantage indeed. 3 rounds uncontested by Baylor at the moment here since they won those first 2 rounds. Syracuse has some ultimates online as they choose to use them here. The Neural Theft going to be a big one for the side of Cypher and Pretz if they choose to use it. Spot through the wall. Derry takes a little bit of damage, needs to get themselves out of fire. Monster finds Leno, a great kill early on. It's now a 5-on-4. Syracuse is in a good spot to bring themselves over onto this B site here. Mabugi no longer with the Bucky. The Odin is out for Javi, but Mabugi doesn't let him get more than a shot off. They're taken down now. It's 3 members for the side of Baylor. A quick shoulder peek. Jakey not able to find Pretz the first time, but the second peek they will be able to do so. There goes the Phoenix going in, finds the flash onto the clone. Mabugi finds Abby. Jakey finds Monster. But now it's a 2-on-3. Syracuse still has the advantage. There goes the Nightfall from the fade. Owen finds Derry. Mabugi goes down to Derry before that, however. Stomp marked by the Nightfall. Owen watching the cross angle finds Jakey. Round win, Syracuse.
The crossfire angles are clean for the Orange right now. It feels like every time, the second they get that initial pick, that 5-on-4 advantage is just so indomitable. like you said, Ryan. Again, so big to be able to take out Leno, and it just felt like the 5-on-4 advantage was big. Mobugi takes out Javi on the Odin, wasn't able to get some done. Again, Jakey came in, made some big plays for the side of the Bears, but just was not enough. Good overall play on this B site as SU take a 4-2 round advantage over the Baylor Bears.
Syracuse, great spot right now. 4 rounds unanswered. Run it back available for Baylor on that Phoenix. Run it back to the days of wired earbuds. None of that Bluetooth. That's what I have to use now on my phone. I have no wired earbud place to hold as Derry brings out Mabugi on the Bucky and finds them there. It's a 5-on-4. Monster finds the trade to make it even once more. 4-on-4. Javi goes down. Omen is going to be able to find their counterpart there onto Owen. And it's going to be Stomp who gets the spike down here. 4-on-3, Syracuse advantage. That spike is down. The 45-second timer begins once more. Syracuse on this post plant has been incredibly good. Still, run it back available. Stomp takes a little bit of damage through this wall. They still shoot through. Stomp forced out to peak. Finds one. Jakey goes down. That's going to be Stomp getting out alive just barely by the skin of their own teeth. Owen and the rest of Syracuse playing this one safe here. Target hit. Pretz finds him on to Abby. It's going to be Derry alive. Stomp goes to the kill. 5-2. Almost flawless, but quite beautifully well done for Syracuse.
Ryan, we talk about it when it comes to the game of Valorant. You need playmakers. You need people to be able to win 3-on-4 rounds, 2-on-1 rounds, and it feels like the Baylor Bears don't have anybody when Leno goes down, but Stomp makes such a big play right there. He escapes from the boxes, takes out Jakey as well, and SU is a 5-2 advantage overall, have all of these ultimates available as well, and Baylor needs to put something together because right now they're floundering.
Yeah, really good job from Syracuse so far to play this round and do it so dominantly here. Spike given over to the Sova for Syracuse here. Mabugi. Mojudgy goes in instead here. A wall comes out from the Phoenix. There goes Mabugi getting a little bit more aggressive now on this side. Shadow step used by Owen. He's in window on this A site. Pretz finds Leno, the main fragger for this team. Neural Theft goes in. Owen finds Abby. The rest of Baylor going to be revealed here in just a second. There it is. Stomp now knows where the members are. Owen finds one on the stairs. Monster gets a plant down. Javi finds Pretz through the wall. Stomp finds Derry. There it is. Just one more member. Javi finds one onto Mabugi. Traded up by Stomp. And it's Syracuse 6-2 victory.
It just wasn't enough, Ryan. It feels like SU is rolling right now. The second they get that initial pick, they're so aggressive. And this is not the type of SU we've seen on Haven before. But right now, it feels like every single member is winning their gunfights, making the plays. And even when they die, their teammate is there right next to them to take the trade kill. SU is playing really cleanly, and this is the type of play you need to see as the PEC weeks kind of roll down and Vegas kind of comes up in the forward mirror.
Yeah, Syracuse has been looking phenomenal in this game against Baylor here. You think they lose a couple rounds quite dominantly, but Syracuse 6 unanswered rounds in a row now. Mabugi has that overdrive available. The finger of death online with the Mojudgy here. Syracuse playing a little bit more patient, and this is that change of pace we talk about, where the tempo goes from very fast to a little bit slower and a little bit more passive. Stomp pops out the dimensional drift, using it as an initiative ability here to find anyone. Pretz going to be over on this B site. One member spotted over onto C. Pretz right along the corner. Javi spotted. Javi taken down. Pretz going to be the one to look out for here on this B site on this flanking side. Rest of Syracuse, Derry finds Owen. Monster goes for the spike plant over onto B, does find it. Leno finds Mabugi after finding Derry, will be one. Pretz finds 2 more. Leno finds Monster. Leno goes down to Stomp in a beautiful trade. 2 members alive for Syracuse and a round win for them as well.
Really clean attack on B site from the side of the SU Orange right there. Again, taking out Javi immediately, and it felt like there was no way for the Baylor Bears to respond. No one was covering that angle, so if someone did peek out, it was just a one-on-one situation for Javi. Leno did take out Monster, but again, overall, it just feels like these small advantages where SU ends up in a 5-on-4 or a 4-on-3 are just so difficult for the Baylor Bears to respond because they're not setting up good crossfire angles. And right now, SU is just kind of rolling over them because it feels like everything SU is trying is working, and that should not be the case.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse, they've just been able to capitalize on the very small mistakes that Baylor has been making. They're putting themselves in a phenomenal spot to win the rest of this series as they so choose to do so here. Syracuse looks for something here. Mabugi slowly cutting the pizza on this B site. Derry walks away for a second. But Pretz finds one onto Jakey over there on the A site. Maboogie spots one, but Derry takes them out before that stun goes in. Stomp getting out, grabbing the spike. Now they're going to look to push this a little bit forward. Pretz falls low as he pushes down through this A short area here. Abby, the only one alive on this Phoenix, taken down by Pretz. 7 HP, but one shot's all they need. Cam goes out, does not spot anyone. Pretz now going to look to flank over on this side. Javi smokes it off. Pretz takes this tiny little corner to sit in here. Stomp goes ahead and gets the plant down on this A site. No one in window on top of this Heaven area, excuse me, on Haven. Pretz holding this angle quite tightly here. Javi has some ultimates. Derry does spot Pretz on that corner with the dimensional drift. The paranoia goes in. They bait the Pretz, but it's not going to matter. Stomp finds Javi. Owen goes down to Derry the shorty. Pretz finds Derry. Stomp onto Leno with the headshot. Neuro theft comes in from Pretz just to give them a little bit more location of what's going on. Leno drops down off of Haven. Spotted out there. Oh! Pretz clip it and ship it. 8-2. A nice shot through the wall.
What a clip, and what a clip through the wall right there. The doorway is butter for Pretz's gun right there, and he takes out two. Again, Pretz made such big plays. Good job being kind of the bait right there. Stop being able to kind of cover Pretz, and the ultimate goes down, and he just takes the shot to Leno through the doorway. Big round for the side of SU, and it feels like every single member is making plays for this team. Leno trying his best to get something done, but it just isn't enough. Good job by SU to start out aggressive and take a 8-2 advantage versus the Baylor Bears.
Syracuse looking mighty familiar to what they did previously, but Leno gonna have that tour de force, taking down Owen. That's your main or only controller, excuse me, gone for Syracuse. Hunter's Fury still online if they can get themselves on the site for Monster here. No trades have come out quite yet for Syracuse. A spot does go in onto Javi, who's going to be sitting in this garage a little bit safe. No peeking coming out. Derry does spot for just a second, but gets themselves out alive. Paranoia goes in. Javi really low on the HP. Stomp able to find them. The Boogie sitting on this site. Going to be able to just barely get past the tour de force. Going to get themselves out of B site just alive. Still full HP to their name. It's a 4-on-4. The tour de force still alive. Run it back. Available for Baylor as well. Derry goes down to Stomp through the wall. Able to find them. Now it's an advantage for Syracuse. They're going to look to push onto this A site. No one's there for Baylor. Syracuse can look to take this advantage as they so choose. With a good post plant with the Hunter's Fury, Syracuse's Monster is going to go for the spike plant. There it is, and it's secured. 45 seconds, start the clock for Syracuse to bring this one further into their own hands here. Pretz watching the angle. Abby going to peek at Abby's head, taken down by Pretz. Cam goes in, spot if anyone's there. Taken down by Leno there. Going to be now known that they're going to be on that side. Maboogie taken down. A nice shot from Leno. A quick scope to the head. Going to take him down. Proudly sprots out Pretz. Leno going to be able to find him. That's 3. Can they find 2 more for the ace and the security of the round? Still that spike ticking away. It's only about 25 more seconds before it goes out. Stop. A good flash. Jakey able to find them. Monster with the Hunter's Fury. Just have to sit there nice and pretty. They're going to go for the stick, but it's not going to matter. They're able to spot it halfway through. Leno going to get it. Just in time, .47. It was a good play from Syracuse, but just not quite enough. And a quick shout out to the PB&J conversation, Carson, I had a little bit ago.
Overall, again, really good round from the side of the SU Orange, and it felt like they kind of knew what was going to happen. They had the bomb planted, and it felt like everyone was kind of playing for the idea that they had the Hunter's Fury available. Good job to be able to get these initial picks. Stomp took out Derry, but again, you're creating a situation where you're letting Baylor have the opportunity of kind of coming back into the game. Again, they still have an 8-3 advantage, but the Hunter's Fury wasn't able to find the final shot. Leno kind of clutches it out for his team. 4-on-2 situation. Leno takes out another Maboogie. Stomp takes out Abby's revive. Derry takes out Owen right there. 5-on-3 situation for the Baylor Bears.
Syracuse not at the advantage this time around. Stomp gets the orb, has that dimensional drift online. Syracuse, we've seen them win these fights before. We've seen them win 1-on-4s before. So a 3-on-5 is definitely not something that secures the round for Baylor. They still need to play this one very, very smart. the Nightfall available as well for Baylor if they choose to use it. Monster finds one on Delano. Pretz has one singular hit point to their name on that B site. Stomp peeks the corner. Does not check their corners though as Jakey finds that kill. It's a 2-on-4, but Pretz is practically non-existent with 1 HP to their name. They're going to walk out of the smoke. They're taken down by Abby. 1-on-4 here. It's Monster versus the world on this Sova. And it's only going to be a matter of time before he walks into his first opponent. Syracuse's Monster has been a mechanical demon for this team, and if you give him the ones, he will take advantage of them. Syracuse knows there's someone here on this left side. Shadow Step going to be used by the Omen. Monster finds one on a Jakey, only taking a little bit of damage to their name. Shadow Step for the side of Baylor puts themselves over there on that B site mid. Monster back on A through the Phoenix wall, takes some damage. Not going to be able to find the kills. It's going to be another round win for Baylor as we switch sides.
Good attempt from Monster to try to win the 4v1, but it just was not enough. Baylor came out really strong as well. Again, Monster did take out Leno, but it just felt like in terms of overall approaching, SU just wasn't able to find anything. And Monster did go down at the end to Abby as well as the Yoryu, and SU end up with the first half before the side swap, 8-4 advantage in a map like Haven. After having such a strong start, I want SU to be a little bit more decisive. I want them to play a little bit more clean, because in the round they lost, which gave Baylor their third round win of the map, they had a 5-on-2 advantage, Ryan. And it felt like they just overall played for the Sova's Hunter's Fury. And that's one of those situations where you got to close out that round.
Yeah, absolutely. Mabugi spots Leno. Recon Dart, gonna find them. And there goes Owen through a short, finds Leno. It's gonna be quick kills for Syracuse. 5-on-4. Pretz, just what we were talking about earlier, right? Running that Killjoy to solo on B, or running that Cypher to solo on C. Very good for Syracuse. They know how they want to play this. Paranoia comes in. Stomp finds one, traded out by Abby with the Ghost. It's going to be Bandit quick kill there. Pretz turns around, takes his time, finds a kill onto Jakey. 2 members alive. The target going to be hit for Pretz here. Mabugi finds Abby with that plant. It's just the Yoru alive for the side of Baylor on that right side. There's Derry going to be able to find Pretz. Monster going to turn the corner. It's a team ace for Syracuse as they take this round.
Ryan, Pretz is just like a superhero or a spy on this C site. Turns around, takes one out, throws the camera, shoots the shock dart or the reveal dart as well. What a play from the side of the captain right there. Again, Stomp, overall good job trading on the initial push, but right here, Pretz doesn't die to the initial shot, takes out one, puts down the field, darts. Derry ends up taking him down, but Monster picks up the trade kill. Overall, good round for the side of SU as they after the side swap.
A very good round for Syracuse indeed here, and we talked about this, right? Typically this round goes to the other team. That's currently 50-50 at the moment. Syracuse won one, and the side of Baylor won the other. Mabugi finds Derry, traded out by Leno with the Headhunter once more, and Leno. We've said their name so many times tonight, it's because of how powerful they are. There goes the Haunt, taken down. Pretz not going to be able to find it, but Monster will be able to find Abby with the Guardian. Prowler is able to find one onto Monster there. That's going to be Stomp, who finds one onto Jakey. There goes Monster again onto Leno. There goes Pretz onto Javi. A quick, clean round for Syracuse, 10-4.
Such a good round from the side of the SU Orange right there. Again, playing around that Omen smoke, being able to kind of peek around the different angles and just overall get really good shots off. And one of those situations where, again, gun advantage was for the side of SU, but Baylor did get pretty deep onto site. They just weren't able to close it out. Gun advantage was just too much. SU pick up their second round after the side swap.
Yeah, very good for Syracuse, and this is going to be Syracuse's bonus on this round number 3. A really good one if they can find their way to win this one here. And now Syracuse going to be able to look a little bit more on the aggressive side since they have these thriftier weapons on a technicality. Stomp jumps in with the flash. Prowler catches him, but he's able to get that gateway out and lives. Owen and Abby, they're shooting at each other through the smoke, but no one dies. Pretz on the other hand finds Jakey. Pretz goes down to Lania. There goes Abby on to Owen. Now it's going to be another shot. Leno finds one on a Stomp. And now it's a quick 2-on-4 advantage for Baylor here. They don't have the spike, however. This Monster's going to walk themselves through mid. It's going to be Baylor grabbing that spike through onto C, and they're going to be able to get themselves on to said site and play for this post plan. It's a 2-on-4. Syracuse needs to make something happen here. Monster, just a simple pistol to their name. and a Guardian to the side of Monster. 2-on-4, the 45 seconds begins its countdown. Abby gonna be the one who peeks first. Mabugi, a quick shot to the head, takes him away. Goes for the stun. Don't believe it connected with anyone. Finds another. Will be Leno onto Mabugi. Monster flanking in from C-Long. Leno finds their 4th kill of the round. It's gonna be a round win for Baylor.
You know, I talked about Leno as the plague. How do you avoid the plague when he's attacking you?
Run.
Run away.
Run.
SU just weren't able to run away enough. Again, Owen tried to play. It was one of those situations where it was like ships in the night. They were right next to each other, but Abby did get the advantage. SU tried to get something done in a 2-on-4 situation. Just was not enough. The Baylor Bears pick up another round, and now 5-on-10 advantage for the side of SU, but Baylor is making a fight on Haven.
Yeah, it's definitely the map for Baylor here as they're back on this attacking side. They can make something happen, a good round win, but now Syracuse is able to buy guns. Owen finds Abby trying to grab that ultimate orb. They will have their ultimate moving into the next fight here on that running back, but it's not going to be enough as Stomp finds Leno. The main fragger down for Baylor now. It's going to be the fake out. Going to be shot down by Pretz, but no blind goes in. The cage goes out as well into the owl drone through the smokes on either side. Checks one corner. Doesn't check the other, though. Pretz now playing safe onto this B side here. It's going to be 2 members of the side of Baylor who start to push themselves over through garage. Just 1 member alive, or 1 member right now defending that C site will be Owen on the Omen over there. Stomp doesn't quite find them. Derry does find Monster, though, from garage. Javi, Stomp knows they're there. They're able to find them. That's spiked down. That's great for Syracuse. An engage comes in. Pretz finds Derry as they walk on into B site here. Stomp playing the defense on the spike here. They find Jakey in garage. 11-5 Syracuse. 2 more to take the series.
Really good round from the side of the SU Orange, and one of those situations where, again, I have to point it out over and over again, but the second Leno goes down, but what a ridiculous shot. First of all, Ryan, at the start, Owen just shooting through the firewall. And the second that Leno went down from Stomp, it kind of started the cascade for the side of the Baylor Bears. They just weren't able to get anything done, and it was a situation where one person pushing by themselves, another person pushing by themselves. And SU has been really good right now, especially tonight when it comes to establishing these crossfire angles. Yep. They did a good job again. 11-5 advantage for the side of SU. One more round.
Oh, they're not going to find it. The operator's there. Boogie goes down. Abby finds themselves taken down by Owen. Jakey goes around the corner, finds Owen. Tour de force online for Leno on the side of Baylor. Pretz taking every debuff in the game. The blind goes in. Derry takes them down. Fake out, shot out from the side of Baylor. Prowler goes in. Stomp does not get taken down by it, but it's 2-on-4, 45 seconds in counting as that spike has gone down. Here comes the flash. Pop flash goes out. Leno with the tour de force finds them, though. The target's been hit by Monster. It's a 1-on-4 here. Monster! The pixel peek is all that's needed. The C's won't find him, but Leno will. The tour de force taking the victory. 6-11. Syracuse leads.
Ryan, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but there's something called the Elimination Chamber. And that's kind of the nickname I want to give to Leno on this pick, because the second he equips that tour de force, he is just so difficult to take out. What a play overall. It just feels like Leno just hitting shot after shot after shot. He's been so clean for this team, and he's kind of resurrecting them right now. 11-6 advantage for the side of SU, but Baylor pick up another round.
Yeah, and you see all that utility just sort of go in, especially on Pretz earlier on there. Some would say he got put through a blender, but with that, Syracuse now a little bit at the disadvantage in terms of that round momentum, but we've seen them bring it back before. Speaking of bring it back, run it back, activated. Pretz jumps over the first shot, finds the run it back revival. 11 HP, shoots down the Prowler. Abby goes in with a flash. Stomp is there for the defense, finds one. Dimensional Drift online for the side of Baylor. In return, the Neural Theft comes in. Javi finds Pretz before it completes itself. Dimensional Drift returning from the side of Syracuse. Javi goes to the plant, able to find it. Owen and able to find Derry there. It's going to be able to spot for Stomp on the Dimensional Drift. 1 member there. It's going to be Owen, finds 1. Goes down to 9 HP. 2 members alive. It's going to be on the flank. Leno finds Mabugi. Stomp fakes out the defuse. Owen goes for the smoke early on through the garage. Jakey not going to watch themselves. Monster able to find them. Just 1 member on the mid lane here. Owen goes for the defuse. Leno able to find 1. Owen peeks the corner, finds them, and there it is. The defusal for Syracuse, 1 round away from victory.
The round was hectic, but SU did pick it up. Overall, really good play from the side of the SU Orange. They were able to get those crossfire angles. Baylor came out strong in that round. Really good util usage just to be able to kind of shut down. But Pretz, what a play right here. Again, jumps over the bullets. Owen able to take out another member on the side of the Baylor Bears through the smoke. After the plant went down, Stomp and Owen just kind of created such a clean crossfire angle, and Owen had 9 health and a dream, was able to finish off Leno, picks up round number 12 for the side of the SU Orange.
Yeah, and take a look at Derry and Jakey, not able to buy full loadouts here, and Syracuse knows it. They can look to play a little bit more aggressive with this Shadow Step, as well as this Overdrive. Mabuki goes into Mojaji, able to find one. Javi goes down. Leno finds the trade. It's a 4-on-4, but quite low will be the Yori for the side of Baylor. Stomp sitting in the fiery pits, but not going to die to it. 61 HP to their name. Pretz finds one onto Derry. 4-on-3. Syracuse looking to close out this series. Nightfall comes in. Jakey goes for the plant. Quiets down for just a second. There goes the flash. Abby able to find Pretz. 3-on-3 now. Hunter's Fury online. Jakey goes for the plant. Stomp. An outlaw to their name. The spike goes down. 45 seconds for Syracuse to make their way and end this series here, closing themselves with a nice 2-0 victory over Baylor. It's what they want to do here. Leno finds Monster. Owen goes down to Abby. It's just Stomp alive with an outlaw. Tries to peek over to Leno, but they're able to find it. Baylor staying in this series.
Baylor stays alive. Again, another 3 kills for the side of Leno. He makes such big plays for this team in terms of being able to hit his shots, as well as when he's alive, it feels like Baylor is just a lot more decisive because they have their playmaker. They have, again, not sure if he's their in-game leader, but it feels like when he is alive, they're just aggressive. They're able to push onto site. Good overall B-site play for the side of the Baylor Bears. Take round number 7. SU still has an advantage, 12-7 lead for the side of the SU Orange.
Yeah, Syracuse, they still have the alt advantage and the round advantage. 1 round is all they need, but they are going to be on a thrifty bye. We've seen them succeed on a thrifty bye before. Can they do it again to end this series here? Looks like a C push coming in from Baylor. Stomp, a mighty aggressive push comes in. The Haunt reveals the location of Pretz here. Owen plays it safe, finds one onto Derry. The Bandit goes in. Owen finds 2. Owen not able to find the third, but Mabuki pops the overdrive, finds 1. Mabuki finds another one onto Javi. It's just 1 member alive. Leno, can you find the ace to bring your team back in the series? They're going to turn around. They're going to try to find their way alive. Leno spotted in garage. Stomp finds the kill. A thrifty round is all it takes. Syracuse 2-0 over the Baylor Bears.
What a win from the side of SU, and it just felt like Leno was sitting in the back looking at his team saying, wow.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. 4 members died immediately before he was able to make a play. Baylor Bears fall 2-0 to SU, and it just was heartbreak from the side of that team because they were close. They were kind of putting together a couple of those rounds, but it felt like SU, they were really clean. They were very decisive. There were some rounds where they had some missteps. They definitely misstepped in terms of execution to finish out some rounds where they had a 3-on-2 advantage, a 4-on-2 advantage. But overall, really clean play from the side of SU, especially in a week where they did not play bind. So we saw them on 2 maps where they succeeded, and we didn't see any bind at all.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse doing a really good job there. Leno, 27 and 14. But then you take a look, Stomp, Pretz, and Owen, each of them, 19, 19, and 17 kills respectively there. Those are the next 3 top fraggers in the game after Leno. That was just a phenomenal job from Syracuse tonight. A nice 2-0 victory over Baylor. That's what you want to see, right? The Syracuse squad, they need to get these wins going into the playoffs in Vegas, and this is a great way to start and a good sort of momentum mover for them to move forward into Kansas next week, where that really is going to be a big difference between if Syracuse is in that 4th seed or that 5th seed.
Yeah, it's going to be the battle for the 5th seed. Right now, Syracuse is still sitting at 6. If Kansas ends up beating Minnesota, they will also be sitting at the 5th seed. So again, whichever team wins next week will just have that 5th seed. One of those things that we talk about as you're moving towards Vegas and you're looking towards Vegas, you need to be able to kind of handle these teams. Again, Baylor came in after the win against Minnesota, looked strong, but Syracuse was the better team. And it was one of those situations where you have to be able to decisively win, and especially one of those situations where they didn't get their map choice. They ended up starting off a little bit weak as well on Abyss, and they would have kind of put it together, and the player to shout out is obviously Pretz. The captain showed up for his team, and it's one of those situations where we talk about playmakers. SU had 3 playmakers with Stomp, Pretz, and Mabugi in terms of aggression, and Baylor only had 1. And 3-on-1 advantage, SU took it.
Yeah, that's a good win for Syracuse on that Haven as they start to get their sort of we're really good at this map playbook and moving into other maps here. Haven and Abyss looking really, really good for them. A nice 2-0 victory. Syracuse is now going to be 2-1 against Baylor this week. They're looking to have a more than .5 record tomorrow. The Super Smash Bros. Ultimate team will take on Baylor for that final matchup. Syracuse looking to go 3-1 with this week against Baylor before moving on to Kansas. But that's going to wrap it up for us here on the desk. Thank you all for watching, and wherever you may be, morning, evening, or afternoon, we'll see you next time.